Hello everyone, I am back, and this time with spray sealers for your model horses. These are just the ones I have from places, from projects, from things, I don't know. But I'm going to go through all these and show you the comparisons and how I like them. So the first and foremost is Dullcote. This is the most commonly used, and it plays nice with pretty much everything. I haven't really had any problems with Dullcote, except recently I feel like the formula has changed because it's gotten a little glossier, but I mean, it still works well with everything. And the only, the downside is it's very expensive. For these cans, it's usually about $5 a can. Try and use your Michael's coupons and things like that to get these. But these work extremely well with pastels. It's got great tooth for grabbing that, and gives you the the best matte finish that I've seen throughout most of these. So yeah, so here we go. This is just some black gesso primer. This is the control, so this is just the gesso primer. And how that looks. And now we have Dullcote sprayed on this as the comparison. So you can see the control and Dullcote. There's really not that much difference. Slight sheen on there, but not much difference than nothing to the Dullcote. So if you want your flat, that's what that is. Next, we have Tester's Glosscote. For glossing your models, or smoothing things out, or getting, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Gloss. So, here is the Glosscote. Not crazy glossy, but definitely glossier than Dullcote. So, you could see a sheen on there. It's almost satinier than glossy. And here's the oh wait, no, I'm dumb. Sorry, that was Dullcote. Here's the control. Sorry. Control. Glosscote. So yeah, definitely glossier than nothing. And then here's the Dullcote in comparison with that. So control, Glosscote, Dullcote. So you can see that. Alright. Next up, we've got low odor clear finish Krylon. I don't like this. It's always sprayed like spitty for me. So I would have to do multiple coats to get a solid layer. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So here, oops. Oh, I'm a mess today. Okay. So here is the Krylon. You can kind of see it's not evenly glossed. How it's kind of spitty, hopefully. And then here's the comparison to the control. So it's got a nice gloss to it when you can get it to work and not, fire out unevenly. That's the word I'm looking for, uneven glossing. So, there's your control. And for fun, we'll compare it to Glosscote and Dullcote. Okay. Next up, we have Krylon Matte Finish. This is basically, this is good to use. I use this in between layers. I used to use this in between layers when I did pigments and pastels. It's great for keeping sheen to the things as it goes. It's got some tooth to it, but it can get a little glossy the more layers that you do, and then I would kick it back with the Dullcote towards the end. But this is a good general one to use. I do not recommend using this with oil paints. I've had problems with this crazing oils for some reason, and when I stopped using it, I didn't have any problems. So I wouldn't recommend using this if you're going to use oils. But pastels and stuff like that, this is pretty good. And I think it's got a really sturdy finish. Like, it really, it'll really prevent like scratches and chips and things. Probably one of the most sturdier ones, aside from the Rustoleum here. But that's pretty glossy. So here's our control. This is Krylon Matte. So you can see it's got like a satiny sheen to it. It almost looks like the Glosscote, actually. It's very similar to the Glosscote. So this is Glosscote here. This was the Krylon gloss. Shinier than that, but uneven. And here's the Dullcote compared to that. So similar to, it's almost like a between the Glosscote and the Dullcote. Similarly, I don't know what words I'm looking for today. You get my point, hopefully. This is Army Painter. This is used in a lot of gaming miniatures and stuff like this. I recently started using this. Haven't used it in a little while though, but I like it. I think it's, well, we'll find out in a minute. It's comparable to Dullcote a little bit, and bigger can. This costs, I think, $10, $8.99. And that's a decent price for that. So $8.99 for this, and yeah, you get like 4 or 5 for that. So I can't say for sure how, you know, well it plays with everything, because I haven't used it as often as I've used Dullcote, because I trust Dullcote so much. But I'm trying to get into this one a little more because it's very comparable. So here's the control, and here is the Army Painter. So again, not much different. It's very similar to Dullcote. Here's the Dullcote. So yeah, those are very similar. So given with the glossier issues I'm starting to have with Dullcote these days, since I think the formula has changed, especially since I believe they were just recently bought out by Rustoleum. So my suspicions are probably true, but well, you know, I don't know. I've never had Dullcote get glossy, but I've had it sometimes get really glossy on me. It was just weird. But anyway, so that's the Army Painter. I like this. I'd say I recommend it, but again, I haven't really had a thorough testing of this stuff, so I'm going to try and start using this a little more. I like it a lot. How do you pronounce this? I know what it is. It's just, I don't know. I've never been able to pronounce that word. This is very expensive. Extremely expensive. This is when I was looking for an alternative to Dullcote, because the smell of the Dullcote really still gets to me. It gives me a headache. Oh, as far as odors, Dullcote, super stink. Glosscote, pretty super stink. This, stink. This, fun smell, but pretty stinky. Kind of maybe comparable to the Krylon, just a different smell. This isn't too bad at all. The only thing is that's really expensive. It's really quality stuff. It's archival and stuff like that. It's got probably similar to Dullcote and the Army Painter. It's nice and dull, but it has a little bit more of a sheen. Like, I like to use this when I do blacks, because testers, Dullcote can eat black alive. Like, depending on the colors that you're doing, like if you're doing a black horse, it'll just doesn't hold its luster, or something like the black's luster. It's hard to explain, but it'll like just bleh once you spray it. So you want a little bit more of a sheen on a black coat. So I like to use that for that. But I'm trying to get out of it, because like this I think is like $25 for this can. It's something insane, I remember, but it's quality stuff. So and here is the comparison. Here's the control. Here's this. A little bit shinier than the control. Let's do it with the Dullcote. Here's the Dullcote. It actually almost looks the same, maybe a little more matte from the recent Dullcotes here. And here's the Army Painter. Maybe a little more of a sheen than the Army Painter, but those are all very similar. All very similar. Dullcote, Army Painter, and the blah 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 blah. So very similar there. Grumbacher Varnish gloss. It's great for oils and acrylics. This is a very good protective finish on your oils if you want. I love to use this before my final layers to, you know, really seal that in and get a really good thing, but it smells so bad and it takes so long to cure. It's got like a potting soil smell. It's really strong. As soon as I take the cap, I can smell it from here right now. As soon as you take the cap off or like move the cap, you can smell it. It's not as like headache causing as Dullcote, but it just, yeah. It also takes a really long time to cure, I guess, because of any varnishes I've ever tried. I would try a matte one that's similar. I don't have it anymore because it leaked all over the place for some reason. Any varnishes usually take like weeks to cure, like 3 weeks, and sometimes it's still tacky. But once it does cure, it's like great stuff. So it's probably more for your paintings and stuff where you're not going to be, you know, where it can sit for a while. But, you know, if you use it on models, it's going to be great. It'll be really protective and stuff, but again, you need to wait the period of time for it to cure, and don't touch it because it stays tacky until it's cured. You know, you touch that thing, you're getting fingerprints all over it. So it's very, you have to be very careful with it, but it's very good stuff, and it's very glossy too. So it's a great final layer on things if you want to gloss too. Here's the control. This is the control here. That's the Grumbacher there, and let's compare it to the other glosses that we have. This on this mat. This is the Glosscote. I'll compare it to the other glosses. Okay. So there's the Grumbacher, there's the Glosscote. And I can even feel like this is like thicker, and like the paper itself is like thick and sturdy now. So it's really great stuff, but again, you have to be very, very careful with it and very patient with it. And here's the Krylon gloss. Similar in glossiness if you can get an even coat. So a few sprays of this, you might get the same gloss. But again, this is going to be a better archival quality thing. Also kind of expensive. I don't remember how much I paid. Definitely not as expensive as this. Probably maybe around 15. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. So there's the three glosses again. Krylon gloss, Glosscote, and the Grumbacher in the center there. Alright, and who's next? Next we had Rustoleum satin clear. You can usually get this at your hardware store, where you get your Rustoleum primer and stuff. It's the same primer but sealer. It's not primer, but you know what I mean. 2 times painter's touch. Pretty glossy stuff. Wouldn't consider it really satin. Maybe it's more of a gloss, like a semi-gloss maybe. Let's compare everything we have here. Here's the control, and here is the Rustoleum. So you can see that is quite glossy. Also a very sturdy shell, if you will, around your work. So it's a quality thing also. It's very similar here. I mean, this is, you're going to get really archival quality out of this. But it's got a similar, like, protective shell that it gives, and it's very slick. So we'll compare this now to, here's the Glosscote with the Rustoleum satin. Very similar. So there's that, and here's it with the Grumbacher, which is glossier. It's the Grumbacher, that's the Rustoleum. And here's the Krylon gloss, also glossier. And here's the Krylon matte finish. So almost similar there, actually, the Krylon matte. So I guess it is kind of a satiny. I guess it is kind of satin, but it gets very glossy really quick in a few layers. So there's that. And last but not least, Valspar Clear Flat. I think I've used this only on like swap models that I've done for gifts and stuff. I don't use it that often. There's like nothing left in this can. I had it from like eons ago. But it still works. So, and it's pretty dull too. So here's the control. Here's the, that. It's a little satiny, but I mean, I, you know, would expect it to be a lot glossier than that, but it's, there it is. That's the Valspar. Let's see, compare it to the Rustoleum. I guess it's more of a satiny than a dull. I haven't used it in forever, so it's probably similar once you get a few layers on there. And what's this? This is the matte finish, Krylon matte. So similar to Krylon matte also. So another one that you might be able to use if you wanted to pick that up. But I mean, you know, for the price, I would go with maybe Rustoleum brand instead of a store brand. But either will work, I would think. Oh, and I found one more that I have. I don't think I've really used this yet. I think I used it on 1 or 2 stablemate things, the Deco stablemates that I did, decorator ones. But this is the Tester's One Coat Lacquer, the Wet Look Clear or whatever it is. So I haven't really played with it, so I don't know too much how it works really well, but we'll do the comparison anyway because I found it, and why not? It's quite glossy, actually. So there it is. And you can see where I sprayed a little heavier up here by accident. It gets really glossy. Let's compare it to... That's the control there, the dull. Okay, and now we're comparing it to the Glosscote. This is Dullcote Glosscote. And then we've got the Krylon. So the Krylon gloss has actually got a, you know, similar, really nice gloss to it. It's just doesn't spray evenly, which really sucks. And there's the Grumbacher. Krylon. So there we have it. So here we have Krylon, Grumbacher, Tester, Glosscote, and the Wet Look coat. So, you know, in a way comparable all around. Seeing it in person, this is the glossiest part up here where it's a little heavy, so 2 coats of that would probably be really nice. These are pretty comparable actually, but I wouldn't recommend the Krylon because it just doesn't spray evenly. Almost looks like snake skin or lizard skin when it sprays. And there you have it. First and foremost, Dullcote is what I would recommend because it is just the most widely used. It plays well with everything. It fixes things. It fixes tackiness. It, you know, I don't know what it is. It's like the magical sealer. This is another generic one so the most popular ones are these two that you're going to be finding and using. So yeah. Hopefully that helps you guys determine what kinds of sealers to check out and use. And if you find any more, I guess let me know and I'll see if I can try them out and show you guys. So thanks for watching. Give it a like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time.